Good morning.
Good morning. How did you sleep?
Oh, awesome. You are prepared that healthy drink.
You want to try?
Yeah, what's the name again?
In Mexico, they just say licuado.
Licuado.
Some people in America call it a smoothie.
这就是我的这杯 Licuado. I'm not a Chinese girl. They don't cook anymore.
It's hard to say.
Again?
It's the one animal we eat before it's born and after it dies. So when did you start learning? Okay.
I want the cook.
But the French.
现在做好，真的是非常美式的早餐。我今天和我的后主，然后我们开始一个小的city walk.
He was the first indigenous president of Mexico back in the late 1800s. And his name is Benito Juarez. He was Zapotec, indigenous person, Zapotec, or Zapoteco, from Oaxaca. And he was 4.5 feet tall. So he would like come up to here on you. He was very short. But he was a very powerful, influential leader and very greatly loved. This is the church downtown, La Parroquia.
Oh, okay, I know that.
On the center of the center.
The biggest church in
Plaza
here.
de la Paz.
Plaza de la Paz.
She represents liberty.
She is.
She represents freedom.
Okay.
Like the goddess of liberty. Something, a very Western thing. This is UG, the university. This is the very famous staircase. It's 86 steps from. She represents a student of the school. This is the entry and bell tower of the Mercado Hidalgo, the principal market of Guanajuato. Then once again we have the frogs, the spirit animal. And then this is the father of Mexico, Padre Hidalgo. Hidalgo is a Catholic priest who issued the cry that ignited the country to fight the Spanish government. So before this was Mexico, it was called New Spain, Nueva España. And the people became unhappy with the government and decided they wanted to take the country for themselves and make their own government. And the first battle happened here.
Here.
And I will show you where it was. So Pipila is that statue up there. You want to go see Pipila.
The hill.
This shows the story of Pipila.
Oh.
So you also saw that Alhóndiga Granadita, that big museum, the stone museum. That's the building there. That's the north entrance. The man down here has it's actually a cemetery stone, like a headstone. You know, you have stones on a grave. He found one that was broken and he strapped it around his head. And in one hand he carried fire, and in the other hand he carried oil, because they were at a standoff. So the New Spain army took refuge inside the granary because it's like a fortress. And the rebel army, the Army of Independence, they call Ejército Insurgente, the insurgent army. They were outside and they were stuck. This is the first major battle, the first battle for independence in September 28th of 1810. By 1817, they had won. They pushed out the Spanish government and they created a country and they called it Mexico.
Mexico.
So what he did is he went up those steps with the fire and the oil, using the stone to protect himself from all the gunshots.
Ah, okay.
And he went up those steps and he lit fire to the door and burned down the door, and the insurgent army went in and killed everybody and won the first major battle for independence. So Pipila was a man with a disability, like he was partially crippled, you know, from childhood, like he had polio or something, I don't remember. But he was an object of ridicule. Pipila was a nickname, it's not his real name.
Oh, okay.
And he was an object of ridicule because they say he walked like a turkey hen. And so Pipila is derived from that. So He went from being somebody who was teased by people to the greatest single hero of Guanajuato City. And there's two different divergent stories about his life. One said that he died there at those steps under gunfire from the New Spain army. That he succumbed to gunfire and he died. The other story says he survived and he went on to live until the age of about 81. And then he died of natural causes. So choose which story you like. The buildings, and you can see there's still parts of the hacienda they incorporated into the newer buildings. And I'm going to show you a very special tree. You look at some of these buildings across the river, you get little glimpses, and you can see old stone buildings that have been renewed. Like there, you see the stone?
I saw the color.
That's very old. The city is over 400 years old. You see some big trees there.
Yeah.
How tall that cactus is.
Yeah.
In some places in the country, they plant cactus like that to create a natural fence to hold in livestock.
I saw that a lot in Arizona.
Yes.
But it's kind of like different.
In Arizona, it's
a little bit different shape.
Saguaro. It's bigger. These are really
only slim, pretty slim and straight.
Pretty slim. Eucalyptus tree in Australia. Okay. Well, now you're gonna discover it here, where the bark comes off in strips, and it has a very nice aromatic smell.
Oh, that's very strong.
Very strong. Maybe.
I mean, I'm kind of familiar with this smell.
But the trees, so let's get a picture of you.
This arch is called
Aqueducto.
Aqueduct.
So this arch is a passageway for water to bring water down from the river into the city. They had like a pump station and they pumped water from the river into the arches, and it would travel. There's a little groove up at the top. A little groove in the water
on the top,
and the water would flow down that channel and into the town for a water supply. They've had severe droughts here. The city, at least once or twice, has been all but abandoned due to drought and lack of water. But it's also experienced very destructive floods. And the last great flood was in 1905. And I will show you on some of the buildings, they'll put like a tile that shows you how high the water got. Much of the city is the old and the new together. Imagine the labor just to bring all these stones up here. In fact, this river does have water in it, but it's like underground right now, underneath the city through a tunnel system. Because with all the mining and mining engineering, they learned that they could preserve the city from flooding and from traffic by routing rivers and routing through tunnel system underneath the city. There's the name of the company on here. And it's a steel company in Wales, United Kingdom. And this was shipped over here from Wales. So they have a minor gauge and a full gauge rail system in the mines. They pull the steel rails out, and they would use them all around the city for different purposes. Finley Steel Company.
This is so clever. Hello, hola.
You guys are wandering, checking it all out.
My latest Chinese house guest.
Very nice
first day.
Very good. Welcome.
So thank you.
Last night. Now, one experience you might want to have is to go into what I call a swing door bar, but and in the company of a man, it's okay, no problem. In some small towns out in the countryside,
这是他们当地的一个小的 bakery.
My favorite's gone.
I probably grab this. I use the tissues. 令我惊讶的是，它这个里面竟然是有馅儿，而且我以为它只有芝士，但是它竟然是有像是辣椒一种东西配着芝士。最近墨西哥的蓝樱花开了，你看这棵蓝樱花真的太漂亮了。
City fathers, they wanted to enhance the arts here. in Guanajuato. What they did is they adopted the most famous novelist in Spain, Miguel Cervantes. And he wrote this book called Don Quixote, the man from La Mancha. It's a novel, the model of a modern novel. And here is the title character, Don Quixote, and his manservant, Sancho Panza. So there's a mythical character, a complex character, commemorated in buildings and theaters and museums all around the city. And his generals led the Ejército Insurgente, the insurgent army, the rebel army, to come in. And this footbridge wasn't there, but they came down this alley up here and down this ramp into the city unopposed by the army of New Spain. And then they met resistance from the army of New Spain in the central area, and they engaged in a very fierce battle. And that's what this plaque, the story this plaque is telling. It's the story of them. They entered on the 28th of September, and once the war was finally over, it gave birth to Mexico and the Constitution of, I think, 1817.
哇，你看这个街有多热闹。That's alcohol?
It's like 1%.
Oh, the one you told me, very weak.
Very, very weak. You won't even feel the alcohol.
Which one is it?
This one will be the sweetest. Jamaica, that's from the blossom, the flower blossom.
我现在在尝他们这个当地的一种酒，叫做 embark， 然后它是非常的，就是一点点酒精，可能只有1%，然后很粘稠的样子。然后它是这样，很粘稠的样子。It's sweet, but
Too sweet?
no, it's okay. 原来他们的水位就有这么高，然后如今现在，所以他们把整个城市重新又往上建造了。我忘记说了一件事情，就是我们现在赶上了它的 Holy Week， 所以属于是他们的圣周，然后平常是不会有这么多人的。
People are waiting for a table.
我现在所在的这个教堂呢，就是瓜纳华托最大的一个教堂，它叫做瓜纳华托圣母殿。我现在要去这个瓜纳华托最大的这个集市，可以看今天人真的超级多，非常的热闹。好，又到了我们吃东西的环节了。每次在看这种东西的时候，我就头痛。每天都在吃好吃的食物啊。因为这个节日呢，所以他们这个有一个周末的小集市，在这个小广场，可以看有很多。这儿是有很多卖书的，而且还有你看这种2手的书籍。